Justin Dorsey TV friends, welcome back to my channel. Look, this is the Hollywood Chatter. Today, Wesley Snipes dropped the bombshell on Hollywood, sabotaging his career. So we know for a long time that things have happened to Wesley Snipes' career. How did somebody with such an amazing start and an amazing run in his career just stop, kind of fall off the map, and never come back? What happened? That's been a question for a long time. Today we might get some answers, guys. Let's check it out. This is the Hollywood Chatter.
Honey, let me tell you, one time I was on a movie set and literally the gangsters were funding the movie and they were using the movie as a laundromat.
What's new? I mean, that goes back to the 1800s, right? Early 19th century. It's been an issue in this country since the beginning.
And we had enough images of us being drug dealers and, degenerates and unhumanly. I didn't want to do working with people who don't have your pedigree or don't have your skill set. Of course, they're gonna call you difficult. That goes with the territory.
If you ask a group of people what the image of a successful black actor is, most people would probably leave out Wesley Snipes' name. That's odd because this man was part of almost a dozen groundbreaking films. Well, it appears the truth about how things took a downward spiral for the worst in his career is finally out. And it's trending because it seems to be the actor himself telling his story. From what has come out about his career over the last 3 decades, only one thing has been consistent, and that's the fact that Hollywood itself has made things more difficult for him each step of the way. If I didn't know better, I'd say the industry was specifically working towards sabotaging his career. I mean, taking a look at where he started up till where he currently is, there has been a lot of fishiness in between. So let's find out if the industry really had one up on him all this time.
City. And went back for a number of auditions, man. I thought I had it locked in there, Jimmy. Yeah. And then I came up with a big LB.
Snipes till date is one of the biggest names in the film industry. For the most part, he's at that level because of the success his movies have secured him over the years. The other part, it's that the man had it rough on his way to breakthrough. I know that's usually the case for a lot of black actors, but Snipes' case is a bit darker than most because they eventually took that breakthrough from him. See, Snipes' pre-burnout touched the highest of heights the film industry had to offer. Once upon a time, Wesley Snipes was one of the most in-demand action stars in show business, and for good reason. Snipes' unique blend of athletic and martial arts abilities with undeniable charisma led to some memorable performances and a handful of blockbuster hits. Currently, it seems that Hollywood is reluctant to get anywhere close to him. Looks like long gone are the days of his peak stardom, cause now you'll mostly find Snipes starring in B-list direct-to-video films that often end up in the infamous 0% club on Rotten Tomatoes. Word on the street is that this might be a result of Hollywood's key players taking down yet another black man. Speaking of being black, it seems these industry elites might have leveraged that to make this man's life a living hell because he was allegedly set up to cross paths with the police in a not-so-pretty way. So, a couple of years back, the actor accused Los Angeles police officers of racial harassment during a traffic stop west of downtown, a claim echoed by several other black people. Snipes said he was ordered out of his car by police and forced to lie face down on the pavement, where he was spread-eagled and handcuffed while one officer kneeled on his neck and held a 9mm handgun to his head. The incident in the Rampart division, according to him, occurred around midnight after he left a movie set in a leased late-model Mustang, which had been conveniently reported as stolen. To me, that's way too close of a coincidence to happen to a celebrity, especially considering the fact that he was the biggest actor on the movie set at the time. Besides his police trouble, a couple of other things happened to Snipes that made it clear he was being targeted by the higher powers of Hollywood. One of the things that made this as clear as day is that his drop after the police incident began following his refusal to be part of a movie. Slightly over 3 years ago, there was talk in the industry about a reboot for New Jack City, a film that Snipes had starred in more than a decade prior. While it was successful and even landed the actor some big bucks, it also had the problem of stereotyping black people as criminals.
I didn't feel that was where our people needed to be at. And we had enough images of us being drug dealers and, degenerates and unhumanly. I didn't want to.
In an effort to stand against that narrative about his people, Snipes revealed that he turned down the opportunity to star in the sequel of the film. But it seems that he might have stepped on some toes in the industry with his stance.
Yeah, maybe
rumor
everybody
or-
wasn't exactly happy about that, about him standing up and saying no, especially if they need it. Look, I mean, you guys know, industry, all industries, it's business. It's about money. If they're upset with him about these things, sure, they could, make it look like a car that he leased was stolen, reportedly. How does a car that you have in your possession get reported stolen? If it's yours, if it's leased, you signed the paperwork, it's yours. That situation is crazy. Is it true? If it is, it's crazy. What are your thoughts on this, guys?
His stance.
Rumor or that they were trying to make a New Jack City 2 because Nino survived at the end of New Jack City.
Yeah, they came to me with that idea a couple of times. And
You just said
Per
no, I guess.
reports, the star expressed his disdain when asked about the possibility of a New Jack City reboot. "I'm not associated with it. I have nothing to do with it at all," Snipes told Brooke Obie of Shadow and Act. He continued, "I think some things should be left alone if they worked at the time under the circumstances. And the story was built around things that were current. I don't particularly like the idea of recreating the drug culture for what, under the current circumstances."
Really? So
I
you made
had
a conscious
major
decision.
reservations
Yeah.
about playing the drug dealer from the start. Actually, I turned the film down a couple of times when they first approached me because that wasn't where my head was at.
The Breakfast Club host Charlemagne Tha God also trashed the thought of revamping New Jack City. "They actually talked to me about doing it, and I've told them no. If I had a dime for every time I've said no, it's a done deal. It's a wrap," the Bronx native said. Suffice it to say, the people that run the entertainment industry weren't too happy about his move, and their disdain became more obvious over the years as things became even more difficult for Snipes, especially when the actor who was known for his macho man status was getting roles that were a lot less like his brand. During an appearance with Mark from Take Two Mark TV, the actor spoke about how he had a problem with his role in the movie Rising Sun. When he was asked about rumors of him feeling some type of way about not doing enough in the film, Snipes cleared up the air. "Well, it wasn't that I was uncomfortable with how much he had to do. It was just how he reacted and responded to certain things." In Snipes' words, he believed the character was a little wimpish. The star explained that his character being like that wasn't related to his personality, but was more about the personality of the character requiring an authoritative aura.
As though he was kind of a little wimpish for me, and given the type of job that he had, mandated a certain amount of authority. So I wanted to bring that authority out.
The actor's major conflict with the character was that he had a dangerous job, and as such required a little edge to him. But because the elites in the industry had a mandate to beat down his masculinity as much as they could, he didn't get his way. That, however, did not stop him from complaining about it.
Okay, if he was authoritative and wrong, but at least he had executed a certain amount of authority.
As you could probably tell with the progression up till this point, speaking out against them was another move Snipes made that the industry wasn't too happy about. At this point, you could say they had enough from him already, because let's just say it rained fire in his career from here on. The biggest hit to Snipes' career took place when the actor was convicted on 3 misdemeanor counts for failing to file 3 years' worth of tax returns from 1999 to 2001, which apparently cheated Uncle Sam out of $7 million. The prosecution blames Snipes for following the advice of both his accountant and another firm anti-tax proponent at his own expense, even though most people would agree it wasn't particularly the actor's fault.
I thought it was.
How many times have we heard that story too of different people? I think Fat Joe came out and said something like that. Something like, I had to pay all this money back. I was going to go down because the people that I was giving money to file these kind of things, they didn't pay it. How many times have we heard that story? It's crazy because when people start making this amount of money, a lot of us as a people, let's just say it, a lot of us as a people, African Americans, were not brought up with a lot of money or education on how to manage that much wealth. So when we get there, it's kind of like, I guess I just hired an accountant, right? I hired the right people to take care of this kind of thing. So, because I don't know what to do. We never seen that kind of money before. We never had that kind of, we never got that kind of education. It's just a thing that has happened. Now we have resources. Now we have a lot of people in financial education that can teach us as adults. We have a lot of free sources online, like right here on YouTube, that can give us financial information. But Before now, it was harder to get. What do you think on that, guys? Because that's just what I've seen, my experience, and obviously what a lot of celebrities, what a lot of people of color in the industry of yesteryear, people that got famous, got hot in the 90s or early 2000s until right now, a lot of them had the same issue. You'll see it across the board.
His own expense, even though most people would agree it wasn't particularly the actor's fault.
I thought it was rather strange to be a client and be lumped in with the conspirators, but, stranger things have happened in the world.
Explaining why this route was chosen, former IRS commissioner at the time, Sheldon Cohen, said, "People who do it openly and notoriously, you've got to go after them. Not because he's that important or the amount of money is that important, but because there are others who may be foolish enough to follow." What came as the biggest shock to the actor in all of this was the fact that his trial was intentionally blown out of proportion. During an interview, the actor stated that he didn't understand why the case, which he already believed to have a wobbly foundation, was tagged as the biggest trial in history.
The idea that they classified it as the biggest trial in the history of I thought, wow, am I really that important?
When it was all said and done,
Yeah,
Snipes,
kinda.
who had already paid millions of dollars in taxes, was sentenced to 3 years in Pennsylvania's McKean Federal Correctional Institution before being transferred to the New York Community Corrections Office for home confinement. At this point, the actor had basically become radioactive in the industry. It was so bad that a multi-award willing actor like him couldn't even land a gig until Eddie Murphy showed up to save him with 2021's sequel of Coming to America. Snipes was one of several new additions to the cast, although it wasn't his first time getting involved with the franchise. He had previously auditioned for a role in the original movie but was turned down by the casting director in favor of one of his close friends. However, things came full circle for Snipes, as Murphy requested Snipes be included in Coming to America after working with him on a separate project. Talking about it in an interview, Murphy noted that he wanted to include Snipes in the sequel after working with him on another movie. "Last year, I did Dolomite Is My Name with Wesley Snipes," Murphy told Jimmy Fallon. "And we had such an incredible time making that film and had such strong screen chemistry. I just wanted to work with him right again. We went right into this."
Last year I did a Dolomite Is My Name with Wesley Snipes. Such a strong screen chemistry. I just wanted to work with him right again. We went right into this.
Looks like if not for Murphy's intervention, it might have taken a lot longer for Snipes to crawl back into the big leagues. But even with the help from his friend, we can't exactly say things have picked up for Snipes since his series of disasters. Nonetheless, fans seem to be excited about him getting back on his feet after getting canceled by Hollywood's top 1%. One person wrote, "I'm so happy for Wesley Snipes. Hollywood canceled him yesterday ago, and now he's back in acting. Coming to America." This, however, doesn't mean the industry elites are done with him. Let's just hope he's able to survive the next wave of attacks as he has so far. That's it for this video. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, it is good to see good old Wesley Snipes back in action. We need another Blade movie because really I was too young to watch the other ones. I remember my parents not letting me watch it like that. Tough thing. What I said earlier about the taxes, real thing. No, that's not to say other people that aren't in the community have not had these issues. That's just to say that it is apparent that he had these issues. Now, here's another thing. Like with most celebrities that decide to speak up louder about certain issues going on rather than being quiet because they just can't ignore it anymore, he got in trouble. They say, nope, smack that hand, send him back. He's done. And that's when these issues started happening. As soon as you started speaking up, it's always gonna happen. Every time it's gonna happen. But it's just crazy because I just feel like they get in a situation where they know it's wrong and they want to say something and they know they have a big voice. They know that they can probably bring about some change if they said something. I don't know what to say. I don't know if I can say that it's a good idea. I can't say it's a bad idea. That's for sure. Because but it's just these issues that come about after it all happens. worth it. You gotta speak up for what's right, but you gotta know what you're risking at the same time. I wanna know your thoughts on this, guys. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Put your thoughts in the comments. This has been the Hollywood Chatter. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.